Hello everybody, welcome to part 17 of How to Survive Living with an Alcoholic. So the last few videos I made while I was on holiday, and I'm back now, as you can see from the background. It's not a hotel bedroom, and you know, it kind of felt like I'd come to the end of what I needed to be saying to help you women to understand the situation that you were in and the steps that you needed to take to get yourself out of it. I mean, I can't do it for you. I can only tell you what is useful and helpful. And just a few do's and don'ts. And I finished up with the last video talking about coercive control. And I know from the comments that you all make that some of you are in a coercive control situation. Others talk about you know, oh, well, go out and get a job and go to work and, you know, don't think about them too much. And actually that tells me that you're not in a coercive control situation, that your life isn't really being restricted. It is being restricted, but you've probably adapted to it. But other people are not, don't have that liberty. So I've been bearing that in mind. But so I thought, well, what would be useful this time? And I was looking at all the comments that you made, and I just want to say thank you to all those who've subscribed. And I can see that there's a number of you who have followed the videos all the way through and have found them useful. And I just want to give a shout out to you folk. There's Annalise, there's Baba Ruff, there's Ingrid, Zoila, Mel G, and that's just mentioning a few, but I just want to answer some of the queries and questions that you guys raised, or you women raised. So Baba Ruff, I want to say thank you for, you haven't said very much, but you've been there all through and just letting me know that you are getting something out of this. And I do hope that your situation has become a bit easier. You'll need to let me know that. Perhaps you'll comment on this video. Annalise, you have gradually become more and more exhausted with the lies, the bottles, the covering up. And it does get pretty exhausting. You've been doing this for years. The thing is, it won't actually get easier if you don't follow the steps that I've told you that finish up with having the conversation. And actually, when we focus too much on the alcoholic, that's when we lose ourselves, and that's when we get exhausted. Actually, you need to refocus on yourself, on taking care of yourself. And I know it's difficult. I remember when I was where you guys are at, I weighed like 6 stone. I don't know what that is in kilograms, but it's very, very tiny and it's very slight. I was like a skeleton, skin and bone, and I was exhausted too. But that was because I was getting so caught up in what he was doing all the time. And I know it's difficult to not do that, but you really need to take charge of taking care of yourself as best you can and following your own path for your own life. And I know I used to feel like my life isn't my own. And it was going to Al-Anon when I heard people say that I could be master of my own fate and captain of my own ship. And it took me a while to understand that. But once you get that and you start taking good care of yourself and thinking more about you, you know by now you can't change him. So trying to focus on what he's doing all the time and trying to make it different just wears you out. So you really need to, Annalise, up your self-care. Zoila, I am delighted that you are getting stronger, and that you are now seeing a therapist. I know from some of your posts that you were having a baby. I don't know if you've had the baby yet. And I'm so sorry that you find yourself in that situation when you're expecting a first baby. But look, what I would say to you is it does blight what should be an absolutely joyful and joyous event, having your first baby. You know, the alcoholic usually thinks that it's all about him, and that he's got to, you know, I don't know what they say in other parts of the world, but in the UK they talk about wetting the baby's head. They've got to have a drink to celebrate being a new dad. And, you know, it finishes up being all about them. And you're the one who's waking up in the night. You're the one who's seeing the baby. And your sleep is being disturbed by them as well. And it is pretty tiring and exhausting. So, Zoila, I think what I would say to you is that you need to not allow, as far as you can, not allow the joy of this first baby be spoiled by this. You need to decide, I will not allow this to affect me any more than it has to. I am going to decide that I am going to relish having my newborn, and, you know, seeing my friends and seeing my family. And also, Zoila, stop covering up. All of you, stop covering up and pretending everything is okay. It's not okay, and it's not honest to pretend. So actually, things get easier. The alcoholic might not like it, but it'll get easier for you. I'm not saying you've got to go and shout it from the rooftops, but just stop covering up, because actually your family and friends, most of them know what's going on anyway. They maybe don't know the extent of it, but actually it drains your energy. It's another thing that drains your energy. So all the best to you, Zoila. Let us know how you're getting on. Ingrid, lovely Ingrid, who has been so loving and so faithful and so patient with her husband all the way through, wanting to see what's best, wanting to be a good wife, being a good Christian as well. And I totally get that. When I married my first husband, I had been raised as a Catholic in Ireland, and it was a serious business, and I took till death us do part that was where I was, for better or for worse. And although I was worn down with it all, and I had been thinking about divorce for a while, because I was feeling my health was starting to suffer, and I just couldn't, you know, I literally couldn't tolerate it any longer, because I was ready to have a breakdown. And so I did wrestle with the ending of my marriage, because of the vows I had made that I considered to be sacred vows. And, you know, it just dawned on me once, when I was feeling really low, that actually God never intended for me to be living the way I was living and suffering the way I was suffering. And God was not going to come and lift me out of it. I had some difficult decisions to make for my own well-being and for my children's well-being. And so I made the decision to end it. I'm not telling anybody to do that. I'm just saying that's what I did. And I had a strong faith, and I still have a strong faith, and I've always had that strong faith, and it has taken me through. And looking back now, it was still absolutely the right thing for me to do. But you, Ingrid, have got to make up your own mind. But I salute you for doing no one could say you have not tried your best. Mel G. Mel, you have been caught in a cycle of abuse here, and I am very concerned about you, and I think you definitely are in a coercive control situation, and I would urge you to reach out to me in a personal level. I have a Facebook group that I've set up called Rebuilding Your Life, and because you need some support. So either get to Al-Anon, or you've got to get some support. I think that's all for now, because I don't want this video to be too long, but I just want you all to know, all of you who've subscribed, and I will refer to some of you in other videos. I just want to thank you all for your support, and I want to carry on being able to support you. So let me know what you need to be hearing about. Bye for now.